What's up, party people? Let's talk about updated defensive playbooks in Madden 26 for the quick sim. There's 5 playbooks that I would consider 4-3 based playbooks that were updated and had plays or formations added to them. So we're going to do some tests to try and show you if these playbooks are even usable anymore or if they're upgraded. And I will say there's one playbook in particular that is no longer in my top 5. It's probably replaced by another playbook. So let's get into it. I'll tell you what schemes for all of these playbooks that they work best in, but probably wouldn't use anyway. But in case you wanted to use them, because sometimes people like to keep things real and they got to use the playbook that their coach comes with when rebuilding in quick sim. So I will try to tell you what the best scheme is to put it in, but some of these were junk and are junk and now are junk, in my opinion. So I still like the Jaguars a lot. Did some tests on that. Still probably the number one, as my cat is doing something over there. So I'm gonna go get him and continue this video on in a second. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you could hype this video, that'd be great. If you're looking to join my community, there's a join tab at in this video. And then we're going to get to talking about how we got 70 sacks and what defense we used that was recently upgraded. So let's get into it. All right, so first playbook we're going to talk about that was changed was the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Wasn't really a good defense to begin with, and it's not good now. Now, if you want to use it in 4-3 quarters, I did get a lot of 16-1 seasons, just not a lot of sacks. You tend to maybe, since you're not getting a lot of sacks, you tend to get more interceptions. But the only thing that really drew me to this was there were a lot of winning seasons, 16-1 seasons with the Bengals. So, I mean, you could use it. I used this with the Green Bay offensive playbook in the vertical zone. And for whatever reason, I got a lot of 16-1 seasons using the 4-3 quarters and the Bengals. But that's up to you whether or not you want to use it. I wouldn't use it, especially if you want sack numbers. All right, then we have the Cleveland Browns. Only real good scheme here is the 3-4 disguise. Same thing with the Bengals. A lot of 15-2 win seasons using this in that scheme. But other than that, not get a lot of sacks. Could get a lot of interceptions because you're not forcing sacks that much. But still, same thing as the Bengals. Kind of weird that they're both in the same division. And you would think the Browns would be much better. But just not that great. So Bengals and Browns, unless you want to see if you can get a lot of wins, I wouldn't recommend using either of these. And then we have the Buffalo Bills. Disappointing playbook here. We had this originally in our top 5 of 4-3 defensive playbooks to rebuild with in your quick sim, and I'm taking it out of there. This is, you can get 50 sacks here and there seasons, but hadn't really seen anything go over 50 or even touch 60. But Disguise 3-4, probably its best scheme, and 3-4 under. But other than that, I'm taking this playbook out of the top 5 for 4-3 defensive playbooks, and that's pretty disappointing. All right, so now we have the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. I think this playbook improved a little bit. So the schemes I'm going to like for this are the base 4-3. Went 13-4 with this, and one of the things that stuck out about this wasn't the sack numbers, but the interception numbers. Had some pretty ridiculous interceptions. One of the seasons topping out at 25 interceptions. Then we have the 4-3 quarter scheme. Definitely number 1 in total defense, top 10 in total defense, and was averaging over 50 sacks a season. Interceptions were down a little bit, but when you're sacking the quarterback, your interceptions are going to be down. And then the last one I liked was 3-4 disguise, 15-2 seasons, 14-3 seasons, top 5 total defenses, and definitely pushing the sack limits towards 60. Didn't go over 60, but the highest I got was 59, 54. So definitely averaging on the higher end of sacks. So the Chiefs, not a bad playbook. All right, so my favorite number 1, probably updated 4-3 defensive playbook is the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I'm considering the Baltimore Ravens a 4-3 defensive playbook. It might also be in the 3-4 upgraded defensive playbooks. We'll have to see. Favorite formations. Favorite schemes, base 4-3, so 15-2 seasons, double digits interceptions, over 15, almost 60 sacks. Then you have the base 3-4. And if I go to that on my page here, 22 interceptions in one of the seasons that really stood out. And when we weren't getting a lot of interceptions, we were still getting a lot of sacks. Then you had the 3-4 under. Definitely went over 61 sacks in that. So that was good. And then we have the 4-3 cover 3, 15 in 2 seasons, 14 in 3 seasons, top 5 defenses, averaging over 50 sacks and over 15 interceptions a season. So you're getting sacks and interceptions, top 10, top 5 defenses, winning seasons. And then my favorite, and I think a lot of people have been looking for, a 46 defense. Didn't hit the 15-2 mark, but definitely went 12-5 to 14-3. But the 4-3 defense, 70 sacks. That's the example season here. 56 sacks. Top 5 in rushing against low interception numbers, but you're gearing up to get sacks and stop the run in this. So take that with a grain of salt. But 4-3 cover 3 to 46 defense looks pretty good for the Ravens. So I think it definitely could sneak into the new top 5 of 4-3 defensive playbooks for QuickSim. All right, so that's a quick look at the updated playbooks for 4-3 defensive playbooks in Madden 26 QuickSim. Really only think that I want to mess with the Ravens and maybe the Chiefs, but I think the other playbooks that were in my top 5 that weren't touched are still really good. So I'm going to link in the top pinned comment to that video. Our number 5 in that video, though, was the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to remove that from the top 5. I don't think it maximizes the sacks and the wins like it should. So there you go. Let me know if you're going to try out the Ravens. You might see them again in an updated 3-4 defensive playbook video. Who knows what we'll find out with the formations that were added to those playbooks. So we'll see from there. But anyway, I appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, hyping, joining the community, whatever you can do to support me. Your questions, your comments, it all is very welcomed and appreciated, and I thank you very much. So good luck with jumping back into your rebuilds, and I hope that we can win some championships, and not just one, but multiple, like a dynasty, if Madden will let us in the playoffs, because we all know that there is something very weird about what happens in the playoffs, no matter how good your team is, no matter how good the playbooks you're using, and still searching for that secret formula to finish the deal in the playoffs. I know many of you are asking, like, give me a playbook or playbooks or strategy to how to win multiple Super Bowls in a row. And I'm working on it. It just feels like it's a little random, but who knows? Anyway, be on the lookout for the updated 3-4 defensive playbooks coming out soon. All right. And other than that, I'm working on slow sim. So let me get back to work, and thank you again. Peace.